35 it did.
38, yeah.
38.
But, you know, what I'm saying is that with the area that's there, that would be a insignificant amount change in volume.
The area has nothing to do with it.
What's
Whether
that?
it's degraded or not, vegetating. Volume has nothing to do with that. If I can jump in and give you.
Okay, yeah, I just trying to go by what I see and just, just
Looking at the pictures. This is from 2002. Now, is this site still being used?
Yes.
Is wastewater?
Oh,
okay,
it's
I
still
didn't
there,
know.
yeah, everything's
Yeah,
still there.
everything is still there.
But it just looks pretty bad, just from the aerials. And this is actually from 2011 Google Earth, right after Irene, right online, Google Earth. So you can actually see where the water went. Now, I talked to Priscilla here at Town Hall today. She said there's some mark in the building at elevation 145. It shows, I think, the highest elevation.
Yeah, there's a mark on the wall, where are we coming in? Right on this wall right here.
That was from 38, or that was from Irene?
No, that was from Irene.
Okay. Which doesn't mean anything to me. It does, but it doesn't. It means how high the water came up.
That's right.
It has no regulatory significance.
Right, yeah. I think it has logical significance to
Oh,
us.
absolutely it does. But that doesn't make it the Honey Ear floodplain elevation.
No, but I think it's something we
So,
need to,
yeah, I
we
think
have assumed we
the
need to pay
actual
attention.
Floodplain elevation is like 143 and a half, 144. I've got the flood maps here and the flood insurance study, which I think shows it about Connecticut. Deerfield River.
Excuse me.
It's right around, 143 somewhere around 143. It's not exact, it's give or take a foot. So anyway, technically, under the regulations, you don't have to work, even though Irene is higher, you only have to worry about the elevation below the actual floodplain elevation.
Say again?
So even though Irene was higher,
Okay.
under the regulations, you don't have to worry about that elevation. You only have to worry about the elevation below the floodplain elevation is listed in the flood insurance study.
And that's 143, you said.
Approximately, give or take a foot. So anyway, here's, again, for assumption's sake, I'm going to go think it's like that. So again, we got a good point about the volume. What is the total volume below the floodplain elevation? So the first thing is, what is the actual floodplain elevation? And then what is the volume of all the structure being brought in below that? So it might only be something like a couple cubic yards, which the commission could determine is insignificant. The only way to do it under a request for determination is you actually have to determine it's insignificant.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't want to see, you're right, the bottom of these well above. You don't want to lose them. They're expensive enough.
Do we know the elevation of the ground level at the plant?
There is a benchmark somewhere around there. You'd have to actually shoot a survey, have a survey done. From the nearest benchmark. Or.
There should be something on.
There should be something there.
There should be something there, right. There should be something in the building or,
the place has been
the
there for
plans,
years
right.
and years.
Yeah.
There's some previous.
I'm wondering,
somewhere nearby.
in the property location, is there, in this,
It won't be on that.
it won't be on any of
No.
Be on
this?
that?
no,
It's,
Okay.
it's out in the middle of fields.
Oh, I know
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
DEP and the commission, did all that bank stabilization work
Right,
a couple years ago.
Right.
Without that, I buy plant. So anyway.
right.
yeah, that's why the
But
plant's
that's
still
only
there after
the resource
Irene.
area we're talking about. We're also talking about riverfront area, which is 200 feet out from the mean annual high water line. So, you're already in, not a degraded area, you're putting this stuff over vegetated area. you know, around here. I saw the, where is it? Oh, there's that, property line. You had a map in here, didn't you, of where the panels would go?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is, right there.
Yeah.
On the side. So, the footprint and the shading taken up by the panels, if it's high enough, is, again, not that significant an area. And if it was wetlands, that's different, but it's riverfront over lawn. So theoretically, the commission could issue a -2 for that as well, for riverfront alteration, because the work is in a resource area but will not alter. However, the only way that can pass a straight face test is, going back to the standards, one of the standards for work in the riverfront is there must be an improvement over existing conditions of the capacity of the resource area to protect the interests of the act. So what that means is,
Yes,
you have
exactly what
to,
does that mean?
you're in riverfront, you have to make it do something that will improve the capacity of the resource area to protect the interests of the act, or wildlife, or fisheries, wildlife, prevention of pollution, stormwater management, things like that. And typically what I recommend for something like this, the commission's consider is requiring a nice planting plan on the parcel. Now, obviously, you're not going to plant trees and shrubs inside here, but looking at your, the lot outline, you do have room to do other stuff down here. It doesn't have to be trees, it could just be revegetate, or let it go. Is it lawn now? I mean, they mow there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just let it go. They just have natural vegetation take over and do some plantings in here.
Now whereabouts, Mark, are you?
Oh, okay. Here's the,
No, no, I just, there's different shots of the map.
there's the lot outline.
Yeah.
Right
Oh,
there.
okay, yeah.
So, you know, all the panels are gonna go in here.
Right.
But
So
you've
it's
got
not
the
gonna
area
be
here,
something.
that's currently lawn.
They can improve,
They can plant some blueberries or plant some other native shrubs, and then just let it go from lawn, so they don't cut lawn anymore. And that offsets, that's an improvement over existing conditions, and it offsets the impact,
yeah.
if the commission agrees, and it offsets the impact of the panels and the towers for it. So typically, the work, because you're in a resource area, would require a notice of intent, but I just gave you guys a way to do it within the scope of a request for determination. So as my boss says, protection over process. So if we can get the same protection under a determination as we can in order of conditions, it's you know, it's fine. We have no problem with it. Again, you know, protect the interests of the act versus cost, and as long as we get the same effect, it's no problem.
How do you determine that area there to, you know, improve or
Determine what to do or what the area is.
how much? So how many shrubs
Well,
and stuff like that? How do you, you know?
That's the commission's call and also their budget.
Yeah.
And if they don't have the budget for a lot, then, you know,
You
can
just
still
let it-
get the town to let it go.
Let it go, yeah.
Instead of mowing.
Might be a nice place to dump some sand for turtle habitat.
Not right there.
Well, may I speak? That,
Oh, it's up to
when
the
they
chair.
did the
Yep.
mitigation after Irene, they left that as a cleared area so fishermen could go down there and fish in that hole. Just throw my 2 cents in.
Who did
The
it?
town did.
Oh,
Well,
well,
that wouldn't change any. I mean, you're not blocking it off. There still would be a path, and that's all you would use.
yeah, but I'm not concerned about people fishing. I'm concerned about the resource areas, right? So if the town could save a ton of money instead of going through the notice of intent process, you know, I think that would more than offset not having a huge area for fishermen can access.
And how does this intertwine with the planned mitigation of the roadway?
What plan mitigation?
There's money in the works for them to redo the roadway to the sewer plant.
I'm not aware of that, but why would that impact the road? I'm not talking about putting anything on the road. I mean, I can see the road pretty well here.
So the pole panels are going to be on the east side of
They're gonna be on the inside of the fence.
Inside of the
East
fence.
side.
Inside.
All around, all
Inside.
around.
All around.
Inside.
So, I mean, they want to spend a ton of money on the road. I don't see why any of this would impact that.
No, it shouldn't.
But, I mean, that's usually the easiest way is to plant some native species of shrubs and let, whatever you can't do anymore, just let it go so there's no more lawn cutting the grass. It also saves the town money by
Right.
not having to do the work. So anyway, that's how you can approve this under a -2 without having to go through the notice of intent process. But it is the commission's discretion. I think we still have a good point. What's the volume?
Right, well, that was my only, or the
Which
main
is-
question was
yeah.
the volume.
So it's, to clarify, it's volume altered below the 143 mark.
Additional fill brought in, additional volume brought in below the floodplain elevation, whatever it is. Yeah,
So if we're
you
putting in
pay-
concrete,
Yeah.
that's additional fill.
Well,
It
if it's
doesn't matter
above-
if it's in the ground, below grade.
Oh, it's not? It doesn't
No.
matter if it's below
No,
grade?
not if it's in the
No.
ground, because you're not adding any fill. It's only when you
So
break
are we
ground.
likely to be doing any of that?
You
You're
shouldn't,
digging holes.
Yeah, we're going to be digging holes, and we might put some sort of ballast in there.
Right, which is fine, but that's
Right.
below
Because
grade.
it's below grade.
So if you're digging a hole here,
Yeah?
you're not changing the volume any.
No.
It's not until you get
Right.
above here that you care about. So let's say this is 143, and that's the ground.
Okay,
So whatever volume is between here.
Okay.
which would be a cylinder.
Yeah,
The
so-
volume
right,
of
or
the cylinder is the
a
pole.
rectangle, or a
Right.
square post, or
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
So you
Okay.
kind of have to know
Gotcha.
for the commission, before they can really make an answer, whether or not the volume is significant.
Right.
Right.
All
And
right.
if that land is above 143, then it's moot, yes?
But it's not,
Oh, it's not?
no,
Okay.
No, it can't be.
can't.
It's in the double digits, I would assume.
Yeah.
50-some feet or something like
Oh,
that
above.
above?
Well, again, how,
Is that,
you don't have a picture of that line on the building, do you?
No?
Oh, okay.
I can say that the driveway is here,
Yeah,
and above the driveway, have you seen it?
the mark, no.
No. It's probably 4 feet above the driveway?
okay.
3-4
So
feet?
4 feet times 11 times the width. I mean, come up with a volume.
Yeah,
Yeah, even though if you're saying only a few panels, but you're still suggesting that you'll do it all the way around. Is figure out the volume, or, so we can figure out the volume for those, future posts.
yep,
So treat it as it's a whole project completed,
yeah, we have,
and
yeah.
just come up with a volume, and it really shouldn't be significant.
Right, and then you can talk, right, I
Right.
think, well, you then talk to the town about that area in the corner, what you can do for plantings and letting it go is the improvement. You have to do something as an improvement.
Yep,
So those are the two things. So we find out how high above 143 it is, multiplied by the volume that the poles take up
Or how
times the
much is
number of
below
poles.
What's below?
Below,
What's
below
between
143
Should
and
be-
the ground level.
ground
Probably
level.
some
I'm not saying
elevations in
143 is the
on the
exact
plans, or
Plus
some
or
of the.
minus, yeah.
Yeah, there must be something.
Yeah.
We'll
At
figure
the plant,
that
the
out.
plant has to have drawings and how it was built and
Yeah.
stuff, so.
Well, you also don't have to do the improvement over existing conditions right there. If there's other town-owned property along the river, they would also benefit from an improvement. You don't have to do it exactly right there if you can. But there's got to be somewhere along the river right there, somewhere along the river somewhere that would benefit by planting of native species of trees or shrubs or whatever.
So we have Peter Talmadge, who used to teach, he's an engineer. He's coming in this next week, and he is going to do the technical specifications for us. He should be able to I think, give us this information.
Yeah, he should be
And-
able to, yeah.
And I mean, his information should be pretty good. My question to you is, we then go out to bid. It may, depending on who gets the bid, things may vary a little bit. How significant is that? And do we have to wait till we're done with the whole bidding process before you can deal with this situation?
Are we talking volume?
Yeah, just as far as that volume.
Give the commission a range, because there's only going to be, probably not that many different models.
No, that's what I should
Right,
think,
right,
but
I
I mean,
mean-
I'm just saying it might vary
No, he's
slightly.
going to tell you whether, I think, I would hope that, we're just going to sink it, because the standard is just to sink a post into the
Right,
ground.
right.
And if you have to, you put the foundation, but it would be low ground.
Right.
We just don't want to see, to
But
save
I mean,
money and stuff.
the dimensions of the post could
We don't want
vary a
anything
little bit
above.
depending on who
Right,
installs them, but it's going to be a tiny amount.
right. It's going to be, either a round post or a square post or,
Yeah.
Here's something from the flood map.
but
Here's
there should be
north up,
standards,
And that's the site. right
for the height and stuff.
Right.
So he
So it
should,
doesn't have an elevation on this one, I just want to show you. So if you want 2 seconds, I'll show you how to come up with how you get an answer in terms of floodplain elevation.
Yeah, we'd appreciate that.
Here, let's show you. Here's the flood insurance rate map, the firm.
what year is that? And that one?
They're all 1980.
Okay, yeah, I was looking at that at work today.
And then you have to go into the flood insurance study to get the actual elevation. I'm not going to talk. All right, so,
Mainly, they're getting a lot of crinkling now.
so here's the, let's see where we are. Look for a little,
Albany Road, Old Deerfield. Oh, we're going
okay,
this
it's
way.
over, there's a little meadow,
Should be right,
right here.
yeah, that's
So we're between P and O, about halfway in between.
Okay.
So then we go into here, and these are benchmarks. So if you want to get the exact elevation, you can get a surveyor and get an actual elevation based on the nearest benchmark. So then we go into Deerfield River between P and O, and, oops, let me see that.
We're here,
Yep,
and why do you say between P and O?
well, here's P
P and here's O,
and here's O. And so you go into the book,
yeah.
and here's,
Lines, I see,
Yeah, there's
these
the
two
P.
lines,
and you
okay,
go into the Deerfield River,
yeah.
100-year floodplain, so it gives you everything, stream bed, 100-year. So then we go through P and O, which is right here. There's P and there's O. We run up here in the middle. I put my pen or pencil. I'm not going to mark it. I don't want to mark this. So we come up this middle line, go up to the 100-year, which is right there, and I come up with 142 and a half for the 100-year flood elevation, based on this. Which is not a legal answer until the commission says it is. But it's what the book says, it's what the regulations say.
These mine. So we get this out of the way.
No, those are mine.
Mine are probably under here. Yeah, there.
So that's how you calculate floodplain elevation based on this. Now, there's some streams in town that have floodplain that don't show up in here. So, which means basically there is no set specific floodplain elevation. So the floodplain elevation appears to be 142 and a half, which is not the same as what Irene did.
No.
That's,
So
Do
the
they have that marked
regulatory,
out, or-
so you only have to take into account legally
The
at or
regulatory.
below 142 and a half.
okay.
Some would argue that the plans changes and
Oh, absolutely.
goes continue to
I totally agree.
common sense would say
Why is it going to
go as high
continue
as
to
it can.
change?
What's
Some
that?
people
Why
say
is
there's
it gonna
climate change.
Because of climate change.
But the IPCC says there's low confidence that, well, they're the experts.
That there's no climate change?
No,
Or
that
there-
there's, no, that there's,
Rising
the
waters.
most recent assessment, number 5, says that there's low confidence that the frequency of
Oh, right,
floods
coming every
will
60 years or
increase.
so, right? Is that what you're saying?
So
Yeah, instead of 100 years.
There's less frequency?
there's low confidence that the frequency of flooding will increase.
Oh.
That's from the.
Well, everything I've read,
Yeah.
like the 100-year floodplain, or 100-year storm is actually occurring every 60, 70 years.
Well, that may be true. I have to say that they may be able to say that, but there is a human factor involved, which is all the development that's happening along the watersheds, which increases the amount of water that's flash flooded to the rivers.
Right, but
So that would
technically,
change.
we have to go by this book no matter what's
As of
happening.
now, yeah. But I would argue that, yeah, that's, you know.
So you got two issues, I think you're up on it, the floodplain volume and the riverfront, what are you gonna propose for improvement over existing conditions?
Okay, if I could try to take a step back to understand the purpose behind the regulations. This volume, why is the volume of the pole a problem?
Because,
Let's say it's bigger than the pole. Let's say it's something more significant. like a
because if
bend
you
up
bring
pole.
in volume into the floodplain,
Yeah.
one is the regulations, two,
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
bring in volume into the floodplain, and you potentially can cause impacts somewhere else that wouldn't have happened if you had not brought that volume in.
so diverting the flood to cause flooding somewhere else
Well, increasing
Very-
the floodable area
Increase it.
by that volume.
by that volume.
Okay,
And you
So-
can't think about, well, it's only a couple cubic yards, but if you do a couple cubic yards here, dozen cubic yards there.
that's
it
why you
adds
have to
up.
regulate it.
Right.
Right.
So you
Right.
can't just say, 5 cubic yards is insignificant, because you start doing that hundreds of places,
Right,
and you have problems.
Right.
So that's the whole point of the volume.
okay,
But
that
it-
clarifies it. Thank
But in
you.
this case, we also have to look at the whole area of the floodplain, which is huge.
Right,
Now, it's more significant if you're, say, filling in a spot and you're only in a small, something the size, less than this size of this room, and you're filling in something, that's going to raise the water a lot quicker. Where this, because of the floodplain,
North
where it
Meadows is huge.
you wouldn't even notice anything. It changes so much, and it's so large, so it would never change. That's why, but the regs do require it, and just for us to know, to make sure that, you aren't putting large pedestals in that are concrete, and then
Right.
that's the only reason, we
That
do need the volume.
clarifies.
Right.
And it's to benefit the town because, I thought we would be able to, you could get away with our request for
I think
determination.
they still could.
Yeah,
personally.
that's what my feeling is, and
Protection
Okay.
over process.
so we'll just, usually our meetings are set up, end of the last Thursday of the
Right.
month. And it seems like, you do have some information to gather,
right.
so.
Here's my card. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call me.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
I do a lot of work with Deerfield.
Yeah, and so,
Got a lot of rivers.
I think it's, March 27th.
Yeah.
And so that'll
Right.
be the next
And
meeting.
so-
So we'll just, I don't know if I can even, I'm just saying that's the next meeting. We can't
Right.
do anything here
No,
tonight, so.
but you've given us important information. Now we know what we need to get for you so you can make it.
Do you want us to come up with the planting plan, or is that you, or is that the
would be your
town?
job.
That would be.
That's
Well,
our-
you meaning the town.
Us being the town,
Yeah.
right. But
Yeah.
I think we'll talk to Sean about,
Yeah, just,
About that, rather
of course, you're not going to see
mean, the
much
Energy Committee-
unless everything melts within a month
Right.
here, which it might.
Well, it's not going to get put in March anyway.
no. I'm just saying, if
But
you
you
need
could
that,
check that
if
area
you
and
need
just
that
see.
plan,
Yeah. We could just, it would be, it could be as simple as showing us the area,
Yeah.
get a measurement type thing of that corner, and just saying, we're gonna let it grow back as, natural. And that would be the simplest thing. It's, Mark says that's,
Yeah, I don't
It's
know
okay
what
to-
seed stock is still in the ground, though. That's all. You might not get anything except invasives coming up.
Exactly.
or you could throw in some plants to go
Yeah.
with what's there and just let it, go back to, the old existing. Or the
So-
riverbank always replenishes itself anyways. And,
Google it, there are a bunch of planting plans online that you can just copy. Many of them are for the Connecticut River banks. I'm sure you'll find them, or you call Northampton Planning, and there are several projects that have planting plans, simple, very simple, inexpensive planting plans along the Connecticut River.
Northampton,
Yep, conservation.
Sarah is the agent. You can give her a call. 587-1263.
1263?
Right,
Yeah.
587-1263. Ask her
Sarah.
She'll answer. And you
Okay.
can say, you and I talked last night, or
Okay.
today, whatever.
but, you could go with a combination.
But that's
That's what I would say,
those are
a
the two things
combination
that you need
myself,
from us,
is the
is the
volume.
volume and
of-
a planting
Right,
plan.
of how they're gonna, the size that they suggest they're gonna be, and we're gonna need the elevation, because he's gonna have to find the
Yep, right.
elevation.
And of course, you're going to put that in
Existing.
your RFP, that the lower part of the panels is above
Yes.
145.
And also above mowing level, because the guy who mows
Oh,
the
right,
lawn has
yeah.
asked us to please not
Oh.
bump his head.
Well, that's good.
Those are the two requests that we have.
If you talk to Keith at the plant,
Yeah,
he's there almost every day.
yeah. I've talked to him.
Certain days, Tuesdays, he goes down to South Deerfield for
Right.
a few hours. But anyways, you talk to him, inside on the right is the plans for the plant. And he'll have the elevations and whatnot.
Yeah, the elevation should be right there, yeah.
Just
would that be legitimate, or do we have to get a surveyor? That's up to you guys, I think.
Well, it's up to your engineer, and he should know what he can feel to get a good number for or an elevation. He might even be able to just get a corner of the plant and then just shoot the ground that's around it.
It's not already on the plans, yeah.
Yeah, if it's not on the plans,
They just did the sewer installation 2 years ago or a year and a half
Yeah,
ago.
there's probably going to be a survey on that.
yeah, it should be
Yeah.
planned on, the elevations there and
That
stuff.
whole new sewer line right into the plant, so I mean, they
Yeah.
should have all the info.
So he should be able to work something out
Okay.
and just get us the volume, per pole, I guess, and then a grand total. That would be,
So-
in Northfield, I noticed that the solar panels, they put them too close to the ground, and this year with all the snow we have, it built up.
Really?
It's about halfway up the panel and it's frozen.
it's frozen, yeah.
Oh,
And
geez.
once it gets there and it builds off the ground and then slopes, it freezes right on
You
there.
would think that there'd be enough heat generated that would.
Well, one of the recommendations, we don't know whether we're going in this direction, but one of the recommendations has been to consider the rotate, the ones that
those are
follow
really
the sun. the
Dual
rotating-
axis.
The dual axles.
Those are
Yeah.
great.
That being the case, they go flat.
Yeah, my neighbor has one, and on a full moon night, it's always flat. It's neat to see.
Yeah. So,
How much money you got?
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds expensive.
No, well, the thing is, you get 40 up to, and Peter Talmadge said this is very optimistic,
Yeah.
but the data say that you get up to 45% higher productivity
So it pays
with
for
the,
itself.
yes, the initial cost is
assuming
higher.
there's
but-
no shading, because
Right.
you lose it quick with
Right,
shading.
but
So,
there's-
but there's nothing out here in the form of shading.
But this is a good site for it.
So we may or may not go in that direction. Again, Peter
Yeah.
is going to probably advise us
Yeah.
on that, so.
Right, and that might change the size of the post, if you're doing that, with the,
Yeah.
Right,
with the
right.
turn-in stuff,
Right.
so.
Right.
And we should know that. I mean, there are advantages and disadvantages to the dual access.
Right.
What did Greenfield do? Did you research
They're-
Greenfield?
Well, they're, in relation to what type of, well, they don't have the dual axle.
They don't have the pivoting, it's fixed.
I don't think anybody around here does.
GCC might have some that do. I think Peter put those in, and there's a couple different types, one that run on motors. I don't know.
But I would think you wouldn't need it there with the, that area there, but, just the regular panels and.
Yeah, well, if you follow the track of the sun.
If you track the sun each
Yeah.
day, it
Yeah.
increases the production substantially.
Does it? Yeah.
Yeah,
I hear it's
45%.
definitely worth it. Yeah.
Just for giggles, we could check that out in Orange. The guy on the farm did a really big plant,
Yeah.
up 202.
And there's a lot of installations around these days. I don't know, we
I
need
don't
to
know.
find
Are
out.
they still there?
Talk to some people who put these in.
oh, I have
Figure
this
this out.
That's 11?
Checked that like last year or the year
Well, I
before.
mean, if you have to cut down
Okay,
these
so
trees,
this-
that's gonna have to be in the application.
And
too.
they're,
Right,
and
I know.
they're the
I don't
North?
There's an awful
This is
lot.
north, right?
It's
I haven't
pretty
seen any
unusual.
more.
Okay, this
I don't
is
think there's
north,
any around here.
and so
I've only seen homeowners do those.
the sun
Yeah.
goes this
But,
way,
it's
and
from
so
one of
it
my
would
discussions with
shade
people
that
anyway,
part.
they're worth it.
Well, we'd have
That
to
even
see.
on
We don't
big
have to have
flat
11.
Okay.
flat
That
like
was
It's
just
pretty
what
amazing that they make
one
energy at
contractor.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you
Right,
could fit in
That was
there, yeah.
what we could fit, but, we could skip those. The thing is, our service box is right there.
Just so you know,
Yeah.
if you have to amend the determination, you can't. You'd have to come back in with a new application.
Okay,
So if you don't put trees cutting, if you,
We were going to do the full 11, that's what the planning board
that's fine. I mean, you
suggested
can
us to
cut
do.
down.
Yeah,
You
right,
can do 10, but you can't do 12.
12, right,
right.
Okay. And without coming back
Right.
coming back before the commission.
right.
So we'll ask
Again, we asked Peter.
Peter about these trees, too. It depends what type of tree they are, how tall they are, because the pole-mounted ones we looked at are 19 feet high. So,
These are big. I mean, I
Yeah.
saw one
Yeah.
unit,
'Cause there's-
5,600 watts.
19 feet to the middle of it?
To the
Is that-
top of the pole.
to the top of the pole.
Okay, so then it's set at the middle.
So when it tilts, it'll be a little lower.
Yeah, well, the
bottom.
panel will be,
Yeah,
right.
right.
Because UMass is, Dairy Farm there
They're,
has
they're
them,
not that high at all.
No, no. And
but not
these-
that high, no.
Right, and I don't know how many panels are on each pole there. These have 24 panels. That's why you have almost 6 kilowatts each.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And that's the most, that's getting the best bang for the buck out of the land you have.
Now, is the town renting them? How's that going to work?
No, we purchased them. We
We're
have Green
getting Green
Communities
Communities
money
grant.
for it.
How much,
More than I have.
How much?
for the panels?
The
Or if you-
panels,
If you
the-
bought them all?
All 11?
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot.
A lot more than
Okay,
we
next
have. A lot more than we
The
have.
three,
Yeah.
the three poles that we're talking about are going to cost us roughly $100,000.
Okay.
Roughly.
I
But
was
we
gonna
want
say
the
that. I
plan
figured it
to
was going to be quite a
be
bit.
expandable when more funding.
Well, this is
becomes
only, the
available.
determination is valid for 3 years.
Right,
So,
so
Oh,
we
interesting.
would
You don't
have
get it
to,
all
we have
done.
to renew it.
well, there's no way to, you have to refile.
You have to
So
refile
if-
after 3
If you're
years,
not
no
sure
matter
how long
what.
it's going to take you, then you want to wait until the last minute before you file.
Well,
can't.
we're gonna do the first 3
Okay.
Yeah.
immediately.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, if the
and
commission
then-
gives you 3 under a negative determination, it's more likely they'll consider the same kind of decision if the permit expires.
Right, right.
But you could get a notice of intent and get a 5-year extension.
No, you can't extend you can get an original order for 5, but extensions are only good for 3.
Well, same as 3 and 5, I guess.
Not the way you said it.
Similar, but
Not the way you said it. So anyway, correct. You can get an order for 5 years, but there's a lot more paperwork required for an order, for a notice of intent order conditions.
Right, yeah, you're better off
Right,
this
Yeah, if
way.
we get,
And this is cheap. All you're paying for is the legal notice in the
Right.
paper.
Right, don't, yeah.
I think we'll
Try to
stick
go
with this.
Try to go with this.
Yeah.
I can't say what it's going to be, but
No, and
I can't
we
see
just
it.
found out about another possibility of another grant, which could possibly as much as double what we have, so we might end up doing 6
Yeah.
to start out with, so.
yeah, which would
We
be-
just don't, we're still working on all this stuff.
So I see this is all doable. If you have any questions,
Yeah.
give me a call.
Wonderful.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
okay, and
How soon do we have to let you know that we want to be on the agenda of your next meeting? Is there
Well,
a,
you're automatically on the agenda, pretty much.
Well-
I mean, you can just say, well, we don't have a quorum, we have no choice except to schedule it till next month, and just put it
Yeah.
on. I mean. you
Okay,
don't
I
have to
can, I can
do
put that on, and
Yeah.
Just
now
carry it
with
over.
this new information that we will have for you, do we need to send that information to DEP as well?
No, they'll be you don't have to. I mean, they'll be the issuing authority.
Okay.
Yeah, you can mail it to us, yeah. Or and if you have it electronically, just email it to me.
Oh, I like that better, yeah.
We will.
so we next, I think it was the 27th of March, last Thursday.
We know that because that's the day that the Energy Committee meets. We meet at 4 o'clock.
Oh,
Okay,
that's if you can get everything together, and you
Yeah, I
should be
mean,
able to, it's like I say, it should be standardized posts
Yeah,
for a certain size,
that's what I
Height
mean,
and
that's
stuff.
what I'm expecting, and
Right.
so,
and the conduit will probably be under the ground, I would assume it would
So,
be.
It
yeah.
will be.
So the only thing we'd be doing is,
the volume of those posts.
the protection around the dig-in and stuff.
Now, did the fence, what happened to the fence during Irene? I don't remember going down there. It took so long to recede.
They had to have new fence put in.
Did the poles
Got
stay in?
curled up.
But did the poles stay in?
And
the
bent
ground?
over.
Okay.
They just got bent over.
Are they just put in the ground?
They ran around in the ground.
Okay,
They had to put new poles in the fence.
yeah,
They didn't want to use the old poles because they were kind of bent and twisted.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for your input as well and advice.
Thanks, we're bored, so.
Maybe the snow stopped now.
The project isn't as fun, so we thought we'd comment much about
So what are you guys here for?
replacement of a water line. Which is pretty boring.
It's important, though. Yes.
Okay, I guess it's, you guys on Bruce Young?
Yes.
Bruce used to
Pine
be
Nook.
the Concom land use and everything else. featured with him. So he kind of knows a thing or two.
I just like arguing.
Well, that's scary then.
I like arguing with Mark. I don't really know a thing or two, but I just like to argue with him. And now that you don't have a say on most of my projects, I can argue with you, which is fun.
That's fine.
So yeah, now I work with Mass Rural Water, and we're USDA and EPA funded to help small water systems, to work with small water systems to do things like in Deerfield to create a sustainable secondary source to help repair the current secondary source so that there are redundancies to the public water systems. So Brian and I have been working on a couple of projects, and this project is located up off of Pine Nook Road. And if you look at that, you have one of these, Mark? Yeah.
Yes.
That's Eaglebrook School there. And if you go, as you're going up the road, you see
Okay, let's see,
see the tennis courts on the, let's see, if you hold it, they'd be on your left-hand side. That would be the north side.
okay, I'm trying to get myself back in. Okay.
Yeah,
there we
so
go.
if you hold
there
it
we
like
go,
this,
there we go.
yep.
I want to go north.
Yep, so you're going
There we go.
up Pine Nook Road, you go around this bend here, and this red line that runs along the road, that's the existing water line. And it ends right here in the middle.
Yeah.
That is the Keats Spring. So that is the, Brian, what'd you say, the backup source for
Well, we get
Deerfield?
probably 8 months out of the year, we'll get about 35,000 gallons a day We do about 110,000 gallons a day in our system. So it's about a third added to our system, free, gravity-fed. The line was laid in the 1880s.
What size?
3-inch wrought iron. Kind of freaky. So it's, we got our money's worth out of it. Right now we've got a leak right at the collection basin. And there is possibly another leak right in here. There's a slight rise of about 1.5 feet in elevation. The line runs 5 feet, almost exactly deep, the whole distance. And then when it goes down the hill, it is only 15 to 30 inches deep, which is kind of amazing. It doesn't freeze up, it's just flowing. But we would like to clear some. We'd like to do the project in the summer. Usually the springs will dry up in July and not start up running again until October, November. So we'd like to do the project in summer while the road is dry. I mean, we don't want to fight with mud season and whatnot in the spring. And we'd like to replace the line at least to here and from there to there.
Trees where they're
And
located.
Has it ever been replaced, any of it, or?
No,
It's all original?
$10,000
so what we'd be doing is putting in a
sub-centimeter.
either 3 or 4 inch coiled
I'd love that.
line, no joints or anything.
Government.
We'd have one valve
Big
here
government.
at the spring and at the collection basin, and then pretty much a straight shot the rest of the way without any joints. Same depth. We were hoping to use either open trench or directionally bored, whichever works out the cheapest. We try to follow the existing wrought iron pipe.
So you
Have a
have found
tracer.
it all the way?
Oh, yeah.
You traced it
Oh,
easy
easy.
enough?
Oh, yeah.
Just recently.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was
my
easy enough to-
colleague,
yeah.
did it, yep.
We had a sanitary survey done in 2003 or 4, and we cleared down here. We cleared a bunch of trees that the DEP requested we clear. We had a sanitary survey done in 2009, and they requested a bunch of trees cleared up here, so we cleared a bunch of trees up there. But what we'd like to do while the ground is still frozen and there's snow on the ground is we'd like to clear it. I don't know what the numbers, you got the numbers?
Here's a blow up of the Keats Spring with the trees that we'd like to clear, and here's a blow up of the lower section.
I think there's,
The trees are in green.
what is there, like 4 large trees, and most of the other trees, probably 8 of them are small, 4 to 5 inch diameter.
Yep, some of them are. The
Yeah.
4 large ones are
Yeah.
12 to 18
Yeah.
diameter. The rest of them are 4 or 5
At
inch.
the top, and then down the bottom, that little dog leg here is probably 3 large trees, and again, about 6 to 8 small, 4 to 5 inch. And that's going to be right on top where the water line is. It would allow excavator in there to repair not only the leak up here, but have access to, room for the excavator to move around. This area here, there's a 2-car parking area. I don't know if you're familiar with it. At the very crest on it, like a hairpin turn.
Yeah.
Right across from that there's 2 or 3 maples that are just dead, and I mean they're useless. They're just dead. But they've got to be removed also.
But there's no resource area up,
No.
up in there.
So does it run along the road then, or is that where it is?
Yes, it runs about 1 foot into the road.
Hmm.
It's dirt.
Yeah.
The road is so.
Yeah. No, I'm
Yeah.
familiar with there,
So to answer one of your questions.
except for the spring. I'm not familiar with that spot, but
There's signs.
is there? Yeah. Is
Signs on the trees if you drive up.
that the one that heads up, is that,
No.
road
That
to-
goes up to the radio towers or.
this does? This road, no?
The road, yeah. I think the road you're thinking about. It's kind of right here. You can barely see it.
So, Mark, I was talking to Brian out in the hall
Okay.
because I had a couple questions about what you had said. And apparently it had been maintained over the years, more so since Brian started, but they didn't know where the pipe was. And so my colleague, Mike Leach, he just found the pipe. He ran a correlator on both ends, which basically pings the pipe and sends a signal back and forth. And he found the pipe, and then Brian's been doing a bit of maintenance on that since, but he didn't want to take down any of the big trees. So that area.
Where's, if I may, through the chair, where is, how much of this is, could be, if it was different, would be jurisdictional under the Wetlands Protection Act in the buffer? I mean, how far out from here?
Well, the blue line,
Yeah,
at the very top, it's, what did we say, 30 feet, and at the road, it's like 55 feet, or what did we say?
so it's only this section?
Yeah. Just this piece, not all of it. Probably this tree's out, but
Oh, okay.
this little section here, and then on the upper section, I think we measured from here to here was 80 feet.
No, okay.
So it's buffer, but that's buffer to an intermittent stream. And, and this would be, I'm not sure how you classify this actually, being a spring that comes out of a building, and then I think you call it, what would you call that, an intermittent stream?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Year round, yes.
Yeah.
Because unless it shows up on the quad as perennial.
It doesn't run all year round, but,
So it was just intermittent.
yeah, 2 intermittent streams.
Then it has BVW, so.
BVW down in here, yep.
So you don't get, I mean, so it flows this way.
It flows,
flows
yep, that
westward.
way, yep.
So until you get BVW, then it's non-jurisdictional, right?
Right, it's just, you're not doing any work in an intermittent stream or,
No.
yep,
You have a seep coming out of a hillside.
yep,
You have a defined channel. But it doesn't become an intermittent stream or jurisdictional stream until you have BVW touching the bank, right?
oh, okay. So that's out of this entire area
So
here.
where do you have
I'm sorry, what is BBW?
It's
bordering vegetative
bordering
wetlands?
vegetative
So let's say,
wetlands.
imagine you have, just for a hoot and a holler, let's say you have the wellhead right here, and you have a defined channel because of the volume, it's created a channel over time.
Yep,
So let's say you have a channel coming out this way, but you don't get BVW, vegetative wetlands, bordering this until down here.
where you gave me this, that's pretty accurate right there.
So this is where you start jurisdiction.
Okay, so I would say
So-
almost all of those trees, or possibly all of those trees are out of the jurisdictional.
Well, don't we have something down here though?
buffer.
No.
But that's too far away.
That's
So
too far
anyway,
away, yeah.
up to here, 100 feet would be buffer only.
Mhm.
So you could actually do something to the stream, well, but you can't do it to impact down here.
Right,
So, but anyway, technical jurisdiction, the stream does not become jurisdictional until right there.
okay.
So you get the bordering, that's why they call it BVW.
Well, I didn't know how to
bordering
classify a spring. I wasn't sure if that was,
unless you have wetland vegetation.
there's no
bordering the
wetland
bank.
vegetation. No, it's just, it's actually comes out of a pipe from the building.
Which
So,
doesn't
I mean,
matter. I mean,
you know.
it doesn't matter where it starts.
Yeah.
So you're saying none of these trees now are jurisdictional?
I
Or
would-
in the buffer?
I would say probably
Well-
probably none of them. Looking at this here,
Well,
that's,
some of it too.
oh, I'm sorry.
I'd say the
You haven't
closest
seen
one
this.
was there's a large.
This
dead-
one here is the BVW that Mark gave me. That's is that from the DEP wetlands layer?
This is, yeah,
Yeah.
the drinking
So
water layer.
that
plus
would
the
be,
BVW.
if you look at this one, that would
Which is
be-
not exact because the commission, just went through the order of conditions up there.
Right. So that would be over here.
So they have a much better delineation.
So that would mean everything would be out.
Okay. So I talked to, through the chair,
Yeah.
I talked to my drinking water program, I talked to my supervisor. And, technically, they're allowed to maintain, not do more cutting.
Yeah.
Not do huge cutting. Look, imagine the Western Mass Electric power lines. It's all kept clean underneath it. But they should be keeping it clean above it. So I hope once you get all this done, you're going to maintain.
Yes, when we had the sanitary surveys in previous, they go in 3-year,
Right, I've read one of
Segments.
them. I read the 2011.
and they were more concerned about down here what they call the cistern or upper reservoir. That one and this one both have, this is I think 50,000 gallon, that's like a 20,000 gallon. They both have cement roofs. And so
They wanted it clear around.
they were worried about trees falling, hitting the cement roof and, damaging it. And
So anyway, going back to my bus, so I was under the assumption that the trees were in the buffer, and because they were going to be cutting down some trees that should have been cut, my boss just said, let's see if we can get some mitigation out of it, instead of having to file a request for determination. But now that Bruce is saying that nothing is in jurisdiction, then there's nothing we can even ask for because it's outside jurisdiction.
Except for the upper.
Unless you guys want to volunteer.
No.
What about up top there?
What about the top piece?
What's up, I'm not
So-
familiar with that.
This is an intermittent stream, but there's no BVW associated with it till you get
So it's a
across the street.
non-jurisdictional stream.
Again,
Where
it's
is that?
non-jurisdictional.
Show him.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. This is a small area that water starts to come off of the mountain here. It comes down through this channel, under a little culvert here, goes down through a channel and picks up.
you're familiar with the
Oh, I'm
road?
sorry. Yeah, the
road
road
that goes up
curves here.
No,
Yeah.
the road that goes up to the towers.
Oh, yeah, that's
towers,
right here.
Yeah, okay.
And then further down, the road takes a pretty drastic
Right,
curve right
right.
there.
Yeah.
Right on that curve, there's a little, it's probably, like this wide. It's a little channel that comes under. There's a culvert like right there, comes underneath, and then it comes down like that.
And we actually feed a lot of that brook. The brook or the intermittent stream will be dry, but we'll be overflowing
Also, the
Out of the
spring also
cistern
feeds that.
to
so
that.
I
And
think
that's one of
that's
the things-
possibly
Start doing
what
that?
caused it.
When's that start overflowing, or does it start
When it-
flowing?
Well, when it gets, it will fill up
Yeah.
even when the brook's dry. So whoever picked the site knew what they were doing. And so it overflows. And that's one thing we'd like to do with the project is to fix that so that we could put a valve in and we could stop wasting the water, overflowing it. We could actually harness it,
Yeah.
Put a little micro turbine.
We
But
can
so the
think of something. But
vegetated wetlands don't start till all over here, so these are
Even way further down because this is, well, that's pretty steep right there.
Yeah.
It gets steep and then down further in the mountain, it drops down and then there's a gap there if you've ever walked that backside of that mountain. It kind of levels out for a bit and then comes back up.
Yeah, I
and
did
then
it
down.
once, I think, hunting deer. That was a long time ago when I used to walk
It's a lot of walking out there. Yeah, so it's quite a distance from there.
So what they're telling me, it just sounds like all the work is outside wetlands jurisdiction. Can't guarantee it, because,
Yeah.
it's not a legal answer, it's just what Bruce is saying.
But we wanted to come before you anyway to say, Brian didn't want to go out and hire somebody to cut these down and then have somebody come by and say, whoa, wait a second, what's going on? So he wanted to come forward and talk to you guys about it anyway. And that's why we called Mark, because we knew he'd know the rules.
and we're hoping to
Say
get
that
it
again?
done.
You got your one compliment this year.
We were hoping to get it done before the ground gets
Before it
machine
freezes.
soft.
Yeah.
It's still frozen.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
still cold. They would probably either Jim's or Green Tree or whoever. They have a small tractor. They go in there, they cut and they drag and get rid of all the brush and everything.
The only time this is not exempt is if the work they do causes an impact to a resource area.
Right.
Then it's a violation. But
That
you
makes
can't, on something like that, you can't do anything until the violation occurs.
But we'd rather come in and talk about it first, and
Right.
so everybody's on the
So
same.
you're just cutting the trees, that's it. Stumps
now.
are staying, everything.
Yeah.
The ground is still frozen,
Yeah.
hopefully.
And so what we would do is specifically on this short section,
Yeah.
they would have room to move their excavator in there or backhoe, whatever they would use. And, if they needed to cut a swath, but it wouldn't make any sense for us to cut a open trench or a directional bore and go to the expense of having that line put in and then having those trees, moving around, eat it up, whatever.
Yeah.
But we would maintain that 15 to 20 foot width and bushwhack it, twice a year or something.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're gonna take the stumps out. These, you're not gonna, are you gonna pull
No,
the
no, no,
stumps out?
no, we
These are-
wouldn't take the stumps out unless necessary.
Right, I mean, when you're digging, you're right there, you probably have to take some if they're, you
If
know,
they
depends how they
weren't
are,
in the
right.
way, we just let them rot.
Right,
I mean, that's what we did on this cistern down here. I've still got 3 huge, 4-footers that I have to deal with mowing and whatnot.
yeah.
They're just there. I mean, for you to go in there and chip them or try to pull them up, you do more damage than good.
Sounds good to me.
Great.
Yeah, it's,
So
I don't.
is there a way to notify the rest of the commission members, or is that something we just leave up to you? So that way, if somebody does drive by, if they're going to check their old hunting spot, a lot of people like to hunt up there. I guess it's early enough in the season, or in the year, no one's going to do that, but turkeys, yeah.
Turkeys.
So then
Well,
no
unfortunately, there's no minutes from tonight. I mean, there's
no record.
Really, no, yeah, it's just informational, usually, informational, I
Needs
don't.
to be notified, the other
I don't
commission members? Or I can send an
What-
email to,
This is just gonna be I'll just keep this, and let Priscilla know. I'll have to, I'll keep it with the minutes.
yeah, I can talk to Priscilla too. What, did
Yeah,
your?
just
did
trying to
you email me
avoid
saying
Brian
that?
hiring somebody and having him out there and then having someone
Yeah.
stop by and say, I don't know about this project. You're gonna have to stop for the day and have him pay for somebody's day.
Well, if I may, what you could do through the chair is summarize it and send it to Priscilla and make sure he gets a copy so he can say, yeah, this sounds right.
Okay.
I mean, he's
Sounds
the
good,
only
yeah.
official record.
But we were planning on doing a letter of notice of intent, letter of intent?
No, you're not
No,
going to
they
do
don't
it.
You
do
don't have to
anything.
do that.
For the
No.
project?
No.
No, not for the project either, since
So,
it's,
yeah, I would send it to the commission, to the office here, with the map and everything explaining it, and that,
Okay.
that you did talk to, to me.
I mean, if
myself,
there's
and-
no jurisdiction, there's no need to file.
Yeah.
And it would be exempt activity anyway, as a replacement of a water main.
So it'd just be kind of informational, and I mean, I do have it here, so I don't know if you even want to.
It's a service
Okay.
used in the public and used to provide water,
Yep.
which is an exempt activity under the Act and the regulations.
Great.
As long as they're within the existing footprint, they don't cause off-site impacts.
well, I appreciate your help.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
appreciate meeting with you.
I'm going.
Thanks.
Rough night.